there, welcome to the Pine Cottage. My name is Nicole. Today we are going to do our January wrap-up where I talk about all the things that I knit in January, my plans and goals for February. At the end of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what the future of this channel is going to look like. If you want to grab something cozy to drink and have a seat with your knitting project, we will get started. The first thing that I want to talk about is finished objects. So I have 3 finished objects, and the first of which is one that you saw, I think you may have seen a half-finished object in the last podcast episode, and that is the pair of socks that I knit for my dad that was supposed to be his Christmas present. So I finally finished those socks, and unfortunately, I don't remember what the yarn was. I think it was Malabrigo sock yarn. It is in a nice gray colorway with some purple tones and some green tones, maybe a little bit of blue, and they are just very handsome socks, and I did finish them. So I knit all of my socks on DPNs. I used US 2 DPNs, and for my dad and for my husband, I knit both of their socks in 72 stitches. So I put 18 stitches on each I put 18 stitches on each of 4 needles, and then I knit with the 5th. And I did 20 rounds for the cuff. I did 75 rounds for the leg. I did a slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and then I did 8 inches for the foot between the heel and the toe. He is a size 12 men's US. I finished those for him and gave those to him a couple days ago, and he's very happy to have them. I did not finish or start his vest yet, so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but that was my first finished object. My second finished object are the Freckled Whimsy Advent socks that I received for Christmas time. I ordered the Freckled Whimsy self-striping yarn for their Advent 2023. It was my first year purchasing this yarn, and I really enjoyed it. I love self-striping yarn because it's you know what people call potato chip knitting, where you just can't stop. You just want to keep knitting and knitting, and definitely that is what I felt when I was knitting these socks. I was kind of in a time crunch around the holidays, so I couldn't really work on them for me because I had a lot of gift knitting that I needed to get done. So I finally was able to work on those after I finished my dad's socks, and I got them finished. So from what I understand from other knitters and other podcasters is that the dyer at Freckled Whimsy started the colors at different times in the striping pattern. So some people's started off where mine are started and others did not. And it probably also depends if you started in the center of your cake or on the outside, or if you're toe up or cuff down. So this is what mine look like. And I did purchase the contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs yarn as well. So mine started with this like taupey color, and then my greens started around the middle, and then it ended with the taupey again. So I really like how those turned out, and I'm excited to wear them. I have not worn them yet, so those are my finished socks. And for socks for me, I like to do a 20 to 25 round cuff. I like to do 2x2 ribbing. I do 70 to 75 round leg, slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset, and then I do about 72 to 75 rounds depending on the foot, and then I just decrease for the toe and Kitchener the toe. So that is my second finished object. My third finished object is a cowl that I decided to knit for myself. I gave 2 cowls away as gifts this past Christmas, and I wanted one for myself. This yarn I purchased from Hobby Lobby, and this is the Yarn Bee brand, and I believe the colorway is Cafe au Lait. So this is the color. And I decided that I'm going to call this cowl my 50-50 cowl because I cast on 50 stitches and then I just kept knitting and garter stitch for 50 inches. And this is what I ended up with. It's kind of wide, and you'll see what I mean when I try it on. I did not leave in my ends. You can kind of see them flopping around there. I will do it. So it's very bulky, but in Ohio, typically we have very cold winters, and we have not had a very cold winter so far, but when it's really cold out, a big bulky scarf or cowl like this will come in handy. So I'm glad to have it. It is an acrylic yarn, which is good for me because I can throw it in the washing machine. I have not blocked this yet, but also it won't itch my neck because I do have very sensitive skin, especially around my neck. So this is my 50-50 garter stitch cowl. So those are my 3 finished objects. I want to talk a little bit about my backdrop here. I am not in my normal crafting room because things are changing around here. For his birthday yesterday, my son wanted to redecorate his room. So we picked out paint color, and he's getting a new bed, and we're moving some things around. And I'm going to be giving him the little sofa, futon sofa that I had in my craft room for his bedroom so that he has somewhere he can sit and game with his friends or his sister, and it'll just be a nice room for him. And I'm also moving some of the bookshelves that I had in that room down to our home library, which is back there. And I have some ideas with how I'm renovating that room as well. So everything around here is kind of moving and changing, and I think I'm really going to enjoy a different background for my videos. I didn't like the light in that room for whatever reason. It was always in and out and not very consistent. So I'm just going to be trying out some different areas of the house to see what I like best. And I don't know if I'll stay in the same place or not, but for now, today, I'm just here in the living room. The light is nice. It's kind of a gray day, so it's not too bright. And so we're just kind of going with it. So if you're wondering why we're in this space, that's why. Things are kind of cuckoo around here, but I really enjoy decorating and redecorating. And I feel like the longer we live in this house, the more I just dig in and really am making things my own and reflecting our personalities and our tastes. And it's just coming along. So it definitely takes I feel like a good 5 years to get comfortable enough in a space where you kind of know what you want your style to be. We've been here for now 11 and a half years. It'll be 12 years in August. And I know what I want to do and the changes that I want to make. And it's just saving up and doing things little by little. So it's definitely becoming a reflection of my brain, my creative brain. So we'll get there, and I will share the changes as we make them. Definitely going to be sharing the library makeover as it happens. Probably won't share his bedroom because that's his personal private space, but I've been kind of kicked out of my room upstairs for the time being, and I'm okay with it. It just wasn't my favorite lighting situation. So anyway, finished objects. This is them. And that is what I have to show you that is complete. I did not start on my next project yet for like in January. I decided to stop after these 3 and not cast on a new knitting project yet because I just needed a little bit of a break. So in that transition time between January and February for the past couple days, I've been crocheting on my granny stripe blanket. I just needed some time to get through some stripes and just to enjoy some, easy craft. Still working with my hands, but giving them a break from the same knitting motion over and over. They were getting a little bit sore from all that Christmas gift knitting that I was doing, and I needed to give my hands a little bit of a break too. So I did some crocheting. So hold on one second and I'll grab that to show you. I didn't have a stitch marker on here, and I tugged on this stitch and it just unraveled. So give me 1 second. Sorry, let me get in the frame here. So the last time I showed this blanket, I was down here. This is my little pine tree stitch marker here. And so the last couple days I was able to add in these stripes. I am not doing a traditional granny stripe blanket where I do 1 stripe per color. I'm just taking leftover scraps that I have and minis. I have some 10-gram minis. I have some 20-gram minis, and I'm just adding whatever I have to make these different stripes. So I've chosen to do a blanket in colors that you would find in nature. I previously had a granny stripe blanket of different colors. They were a little bit bolder, a little bit brighter, and it just didn't reflect me. So my cousin very much enjoyed those colors, so I gifted it to her as a shawl. And I think I showed that last year sometime. So I started this new one, and it's just coming along. I think maybe I have plans for February, but I think maybe in March, this might be, instead of doing starting a new project, maybe I'll work on this. I haven't really decided yet because I would like to finish it this year, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15 rows I was able to put on this from the last time that I showed it. So that's not too bad. And you guys, I love that color, that rusty color. Oh, it's so good. So pretty. I guess that you can call that my whip. It's a long-term whip, and it is what I decided to work on when I was finished with those other projects. It just so happened that for January, I was able to knit 1 pair of socks for me. I talked about in my last video, the what I knit in 2023, what I learned in 2023 video, that I only ended up with 3 pair of socks for myself last year. I would like to knit more socks for myself this year. So I guess that's, you know, I don't want to make a goal because I won't keep it. Ideally, I would like to have 1 pair of socks a month for myself, but I know that I have to knit so many pairs for other people too. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm gonna try. We'll see what happens. So far so good. In January, I have a pair of socks for myself. Coming up for February, I am going to knit my dad's vest, and that is in Knit Picks Swish DK in the colorway Indigo Heather. And it is a bottom-up pattern. I needed some kind of a template to know how far up to knit before the armhole started. So he and my mom are leaving. They snowbird for the winters here in Ohio. So they are leaving to go out west for a couple months, and he gave me a cardigan that he likes the fit of so that I know where the bottom of the vest should be and knit up to the armhole. So he gave that to me yesterday. Since he won't be around, then I'll have something to measure against. So the top of the shoulder is here. There's the arm. The armhole starts here and it goes down. So then I have something to measure against when I'm knitting for his vest. So that will be helpful. I need a smaller project just to have something a little bit portable when I'm running kids around or you know, visiting somewhere, or an on-the-go project. So I decided instead of a pair of socks, I think I'm going to make another Musselburgh hat, because the one that I have is kind of a lighter color. I feel like sometimes it washes me out a little bit. So I am going to knit another one. This one is going to be in La Bien-Aimé's Cashmerino base. It's 75% merino, 15% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And this is in the colorway Echanesse, I think it's called. And it is purples and grays and scarlets and browns and greens and some charcoals. And I just think that that is going to be a good hat for me. It doesn't wash me out. It will match my black coat. So this is going to be my portable project. And it just so happens that I have a purple theme going for February, and that's kind of Valentine's-y, maybe. That's my February plan. If I get finished with those early, then I can always start a new pair of socks. But February is a short month, even though it's a leap year, it's still short. So I don't know if that will necessarily happen. So I feel like it's safe to say I could finish those two things in February. So now I want to talk about some acquisitions. I am very blessed and received some really beautiful things for Christmas that pertain to knitting. I just wanted to share those with you here. My mom purchased a knitting backpack for me for Christmas because I always take my knitting camping, and she thought that this would be really great for that. I put my little market tassel on the zipper, and I've already used this. My husband and I went away for our 15-year wedding anniversary, which I talked about, I think, in a Advent Sunday video. But I did take this with me to take my knitting. And it is a backpack. It has a zipper that's padded in the back, so if you want to take your tablet or a small computer or a Kindle or something, it'll fit back there. It has this front zipper that folds down, and you can fit needles or crochet hooks all along here. They have like individual, so they don't fall out, which is very, very nice. A lot of zippers and different like small little compartments to keep things organized. And then the really great feature is along the side, there are these holes, and they're on both sides. There's one, can you see them? Oh, there's three. So you can fit your yarn through the holes, and so you can be wearing the backpack and knitting as wear it, which I think is a fantastic feature. There is also this little thing on the side where you can put a phone charger on the inside, and then the wire can come out here so that you can connect and charge your phone or whatever you need to charge. That was an awesome gift, and I just really appreciated the thought that went into that because she knew that it was something that I could use. I don't always like to bring my leather bag camping in case it gets wet or gets spilled on or something like that. This is a nice canvas that can be wiped down, and it'll be great for camping. A gift that I bought for myself, which, do any of you do that? Because I totally did. You know, you never know. How do I say this? I love my husband, and he's amazing, and he spoils me all year round. But when it comes to gifting, it doesn't occur to him to do like research into what he might be able to give me. So he prefers that I give him a list of things that I would like. And so I didn't feel comfortable asking for this, so I just decided to gift it to myself. And this is a leather bag from Sandy by the Lakeside, and this is in her large tote. I'll have to look up and put on the screen what exactly she calls it because I don't remember. But it is the large tote that has the sides that you can tie in that create this like triangle. And the straps are long enough so that they can fit on your shoulder. I mean, my armpit's up here, so there's plenty of room to wear it as a shoulder bag. And you can fit everything in this bag. So I can fit a couple different project bags, my journaling, anything that I need, like purse-wise. I actually used this as my weekend bag when we went on our trip, and then I put all my knitting in the backpack that my mom bought me. So it's beautiful, and it smells delicious, leather smell. It has an inside pocket and a little hook for your keys, and it just is a great bag. And over time, it's just going to get softer and more squishy and beautiful, and I just love it. I was very glad that I purchased it for myself. But what I didn't know is I did put on my list the binder from Thread and Maple. I didn't think that he would get it. I didn't think I would actually get it, and I did. He gave me the Thread and Maple jumbo binder, and it fits 5 pages. I have 3 right now, so I am saving up to get 2 more. I already owned the ChiaoGoo interchangeable needle set, so this is the page that fits that. And then this is a DPN page, and then this is a fixed needle page. So I am saving up for the Notions page, and then a page for the ChiaoGoo Shorty interchangeable needle set. So what I love about this is that everything, all your tools that you need can fit into this one binder and be in one place and all be together. So if you're looking for something for a project, you just have to go to one place to find them. The other thing that I love is that you don't have to carry this whole thing around with you in your project bag if you're leaving the house or whatever to knit. Let's say I'm going on my trip and I need a couple different size interchangeables for a sweater that I'm making. This one page comes out and I can fold it in half, and then these snaps reach over like a little wallet, and I can carry just the interchangeables with me and throw them in my project bag and just have this. So it's so versatile that it just is amazing. So I was really, really excited to receive this, and it's so beautiful. I have the whiskey colorway. They also have a darker leather color, which I think they call it chocolate. But this is in the whiskey, which is like a more brownish red color. And so that is that, and it's beautiful. And there's just a place for everything. They have thought of everything when it comes to this. I did do a What's in My Knitting Bag video last year, so I will probably do an updated What's in My Knitting Bag later this year, once I kind of get in the groove of using all these things, to kind of show you what I use the most and how I use the tools that I have. I do try to keep things minimal, but the way that I had everything organized before in my home base, not necessarily in my bag, was kind of a mess. Like I had fixed needles tangled in, thrown in a basket. My home base needed some organization. So I feel like this is going to help with that. I don't know, to be continued. I will probably post an updated video of my knitting tools and my bag later this year. So that was the third knitting bag or knitting container, knitting organization gift that I received for Christmas this past year, and I feel like a lucky girl. The other things that I received is yarn, and two of the things are sock subscriptions that I decided to subscribe to this year that I was doing a little bit of last year. So the first one is the Farmer's Daughter Fiber Sock Squad subscription, and this year her theme is very moody, earthy tones, and so I had to subscribe. She included in this subscription this year a spiral bound sock journal, and with each month there is a photo of the inspiration that she used to dye the yarn. I have mine in my bag somewhere, and I can't show it to you right now, but I'm not going to use the journal as a journal because I use a bullet journal for everything. I use it for knitting, reading, my calendar, my work schedule, journaling, prayer journal. I use it for everything. So I probably am going to just cut out the photo, the inspiration photo, and put it in my bullet journal, and then take a photo of the finished sock set once I knit it up and add it. For Farmer's Daughter Fiber, she also does have, I believe, a Ravelry group. So if you do decide that you want to knit the sock each month and then post it in Ravelry, I believe they do give like prizes and giveaways for that. I'm not someone who's going to keep up with the knitting every month like that. I'm just putting them in my yarn stash and then knit them when the inspiration strikes. So I'm not going to be using the journal as intended, but I definitely want those photos for my bullet journal. So that's kind of how I'm using it. So the first month for January for her Sock Squad set, I will show you the colorway. This is in her Bighorn sock base, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It is 463 yards. The mini is 92 yards or 20 grams. And this is in the color Love Good. And there are some beautiful speckles happening in this one. And the mini is this like cobalt blue. So that is January. I'm also subscribing to the Palmer, why can't I say Palmer? Palmer. I'm also subscribing to the Palmer Yarn Company sock subscription for 2024. And hers is the Whimsy Club. So she posted some inspiration photos when she was marketing for this club, and they all look beautiful. A lot of jewel tones, a lot of moody colors. This is 80% merino, 20% nylon. And this is in her soft sock set base, and this is January in the colorway Puff. And I believe the inspiration photo for this is a dragon, and that's just beautiful. I mean, look at those purples and teals. I love this green, this like mossy green. Beautiful. She did such a beautiful job. So that is January for Palmer Yarn Company. And I did receive February as well, but I will show that at the end of February just because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I also, I just saw on Instagram, this is where these hoarding tendencies come in, and my minimalism goes out the window, especially around Christmas time, and I bought more yarn. So, what's it called? A Fiber Collective was a company on Instagram that they would like curate different yarns from different yarn dyers and put together boxes and I believe they are no longer going to be in business, I think is my understanding, because they were having like a clear out sale and doing mystery boxes. And so I'm like, oh, I could do a mystery box. I like a good mystery. So I purchased one, and I received 2 sock sets in this mystery box, which was really fun. The first one is by the company Newburgh Yarn Co., which I was not familiar with. It was new to me. This is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is a 20-gram mini, and this is the colorway Moody Lilac and Driftwood. And it is a nice mauve-y colorway and a natural mini. This is their logo. So I was very pleased with that surprise. And then the other sock set is by the company Knitting Lizard Fibers, which was also new to me. And this base is their BFL Twist Sock. It's 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon. It is also a 20-gram mini, and this is the colorway Bluegrass. This is their logo. Very springy, I thought. And so, you know, these 2, each one would be really nice with like a patterned textured sock. Textured, not patterned. But also, if I decided I wanted to do some like color blocking or something like that, these also would be good. They're just nice tonals to have in my stash. So I was very pleased with that. And then additionally in the box was this pink hibiscus tea by the company Blushing, and a little sheep sticker, which I will use for my journal. There were some tags from Luxe Labels that say one of a kind for any sweaters that I make this year or garments. This little keychain that says I'm not afraid of storms for I am learning to sail my ship. And isn't that true of life in general? I will be learning to sail my ship for the rest of my life. And then a little lotion bar, which I thought was perfect timing because I recently saw a YouTube video. It was a knitter, but I will share it when I share my video of how to make a lotion bar. So I will be making that in the future, and we'll be sharing that whole process with you guys. But this was included in this little box, and it's shaped like a flower, and it's lotion, and it's so cute. It's just in this little tin. So I thought that was a great box, and I was not mad at that mystery purchase at all. I wanted to talk a little bit about some other acquisitions that I've been contacted about, and I wanted to share with you. One of the viewers here, Christina, she is a minimal knitter on Instagram. I think that's her handle. If I'm wrong, I'm going to post her correct handle right here. It's something minimal, I think. She is a beautiful soul, and we have been chatting, and she's been watching this channel for a bit, and she contacted me and asked if she could send me a ChiaoGoo interchangeable needle set because she had tried them and it wasn't her thing. She knew that I have them in my possession and that I really enjoy them, and she thought that someone here in our little community would enjoy them more than she did. So she has sent those to me. I have a full complete set of ChiaoGoo interchangeable needles to gift to one of you in a giveaway. She also was kind enough to send me this shorty set as a gift, which I am blown away by her generosity. And Christina, thank you so much. Just the fact that you reached out and wanted to bless somebody with something like this, just the fact that you reached out and wanted to bless someone with such a gift is really heartwarming, and I just wanted to say thank you. I feel really blessed by this whole process and this whole community and this whole YouTube thing. It just blows my mind all the time that I'm doing this and this is happening, and there are people who enjoy doing these same things that I enjoy doing and that are just so kind and giving to each other, just of their time, not necessarily of things. But then when something like this happens, you're like, wow, these people are just so kind. I'm collecting things. I have someone else who contacted me is going to be sending me some things, and I have some yarn that I would like to give away. So I'm collecting all these things in a giveaway bin so that when giveaways come up, because they will come up this year, I have some really great things to gift to you guys. I just wanted to say thank you. This is the Shorty Chowgu set that she gifted to me, and I'm just really, really thankful and kind of just blown away by your generosity. So thank you so much, Christina. This would be a great time to talk to you a little bit about my plans going forward for this channel. I kind of hinted toward it in my last video, and I just want to be very transparent with all of you. When I started this channel, it was many years ago now, I think like 5 years ago, and it was a crochet channel at that time. And as I learned more about knitting and I learned that I loved knitting, it became more of a knitting channel. But when I was thinking of the name of this channel, The Pine Cottage, I purposely did not make it Pine Cottage Knitting or Pine Cottage Crochet. I wanted to keep it The Pine Cottage because in my mind I knew that eventually I wanted this channel to evolve into something that encompassed more than just knitting or more than just crochet. My vision for this channel is to encompass all things that you would find in a cottage. Making things with your hands, which includes knitting, crochet, sewing, cross stitch, baking, homemaking in general, gardening, simple living, all of those things to me encompass a cottage. That's what I want my home to be. That's why I named my channel this thing, because when I come home to my Pine Cottage, I'm doing all of these creative things that make up the different moments of my life. So I don't want to pigeonhole myself into one thing. I'm not getting rid of any knitting content on this channel. I'm still mid-month going to do a knitting podcast. I'm still going to do a knitting wrap-up at the end of the month, but I want to start adding in some other things. I talked about, during my Advent Sunday videos, possibly doing a knitting podcast every week. I don't think that's realistic for me. I don't knit that fast. I don't think it's that interesting to watch me move like a couple inches down a project every week. I just can't put out the knitting content that quickly. But then I was thinking more about it and brainstorming more about it, and I definitely can put other content out that I'm passionate about. And the first thing that popped into my mind was books. I have been a reader and a writer my entire life. I need to do those things to feel fulfilled in my life just as much, if not more, than knitting. And so I felt like that was a natural thing to add into this channel. Another thing that, as you know, because I talk about it, is simple living and minimalism. Simple living, slow living, taking our time, enjoying those moments, not letting society and the world come in and tell us how to live our lives and how quickly to live our lives and how busy our lives need to be. All of those things are important to me. So I want to add in other videos that portray those things, or where I can just sit and chat about those things, or where I can share about things that I've read or things that I've tried or new hobbies that I've tried. So I'm rambling, but this is my plan. I am going to continue doing mid-month a knitting podcast. At the end of the month, I'm still going to do a knitting wrap-up video. On the first of every month, I'm going to post a book club video where I announce a book that I'm going to be reading that month. And if you would like to join me in reading that book, you are more than welcome. It's where we can come together in the comment section and talk about our reactions to the book, our thoughts, our questions, and really get into a deep dive discussion about whatever book we're reading. I would love, love, love if you joined me in that. I do have a website, and I think eventually I will open it up again. I used to do book reviews on it, and I just kind of petered out. I didn't know if anybody was interested, or I don't know, it just got away from me. So I may combine that website in some way with the book club aspect of this channel. I'm just not sure what that looks like yet. So for now, we're going to start small. Tomorrow is February 1st. I will be posting a video of my book club pick for February, and if you would like to join me, please feel free. I would love it if we could all read the book together. It's not going to be the same genre every month. I like to read different types of books, but there's also books that I really don't enjoy. And I like to watch a lot of YouTube channels, and when I'm looking for other readers or other booktubers, I find a lot of like fantasy readers or young adult or romance. Those aren't big on my list. So you probably won't find those here if that's what you're looking for. I'm going to read literary fiction. I'm going to read sometimes maybe a thriller. I'm going to read maybe some historical fiction. I'm going to read nonfiction for sure, definitely memoir, definitely essays or short stories. But in the fiction side of things, it'll probably be literary fiction, historical fiction, or sometimes a thriller, maybe like once or twice in the whole year. So if those are things, maybe classics too, maybe one or two classics I might throw in. So I don't know. If it's something that you think that you would enjoy, or if those are genres that you enjoy reading, feel free. I mean, you don't have to buy the book, run to your library, get on your Libby app, read, get the audiobook from the library, whatever you need to do to join us. And I would love to strengthen our community through books as well as knitting. So that's coming tomorrow on the 1st. Then I'm going to add a video in the next week about all the books that I read the previous month. So somewhere around the 8th, I'll probably post a video about all the books that I read in January and give you my thoughts on those. Then I'm going to have my regular knitting podcast. Then the following week, I'm going to post a video about something related to simple living. This month, I think I might do how I make sourdough bread or sourdough bagels. As the weather changes, I might do something about gardening or something about a homemade recipe like I make my homemade body butter. I might just do something like that about simple living. It might be renovating a room or redecorating my library or something like that. Something around the home about simple living or slow living. And then the last video of the month, of course, will be my knitting wrap up. So we're probably looking at about 5 videos a month, 2 of which will definitely be knitting related. And in some of those other videos, I might sneak in some knitting too. So I understand that YouTube has an algorithm. I understand that there is a process. I understand that a lot of people who make videos are catering to that, and I'm just not one of those people. I want to make videos about things that I'm interested in, and I want to share that with you. I'm not looking to trick the computer system or the AI. I don't even know how it all works. I'm just going to put out there what I love and hope that the people who love the same things find me. So I hope that you will join me. If it's not your thing, I don't take offense. It's okay. Just come back for the knitting. That's fine. But if it's something that you do enjoy, please feel free. My door is always open. I'm just really excited about it. I'm excited to add some new things in. So those are my plans. I just wanted to let you guys know that you're going to be seeing a little bit more of me if you want to see a little bit more of me. Last thing that I want to talk about is the book that I want to talk about for this month for knitting. For Christmas, my children picked out this Harry Potter Knitting Magic book, and this is the official Harry Potter knitting pattern book by Tanis Gray. And I thought this was so sweet. It was a surprise. This was not something that I had on my list, and my daughter just said, "We're getting that for Mom. That's perfect." And it has anything that you could think of that's Harry Potter related. Of course, it has, the Gryffindor scarf, which is adorable. But it also has other things like, if you want, I'm just going to flash it. These little things that, animals and things that you can hang to make, let me see, I know there's a picture in here. To make like a mobile for a nursery. So I thought that was very cute. Or you can just knit the individual things to have like little stuffies. But the thing that I am going to knit out of this first, I've already decided, is Hedwig. Because I love Hedwig, and it's the cutest little thing, and I think she will look adorable on my bookshelves. So when I decide to knit out of this book, she is the first thing that I'm going to knit. So that is the book that I received for Christmas and that I wanted to show and share with you guys for January. Let's talk about homemade toothpaste. I know it might seem odd to make your own toothpaste, or maybe some of you already do it, but there are some ingredients in commercial toothpaste that you find in your store that are not so great for you. Carrageenan is one of those ingredients. There are also some artificial sweeteners that they put in toothpastes, especially for kids, that I am not a fan of. My mom and I actually started making our own toothpaste, and before we jumped into this whole thing, she had gone to the dentist. She's had problems with her teeth her whole life, and she went to the dentist, and her dentist told her her gums were in really bad shape. So between that visit and the next one, in 6 months, she started using her own homemade natural toothpaste. And when she went back, her dentist said, what did you do? What did you change? Because your gums look fantastic. And the only change she had made was making her own toothpaste. So from then on, I was like, that's it. This is for me. I just whip it up in a bowl, put it in little glass jars from Amazon. I dip my toothbrush in it and just brush my teeth with it. It's made primarily of coconut oil. It's coconut oil, baking soda. I put xylitol in, and some peppermint essential oil. You can use peppermint, you can use cinnamon, you can use clove. I think there are different oils that you can use. If you're going to use essential oils, make sure that you do your research about essential oils. Not all essential oils should be ingested. So you're definitely going to spit it out. You're not going to swallow it. Peppermint oil is great. Also, cinnamon is good for like antibacterial, both of those. So anyway, it's simple. Those are the only ingredients, and you just mix them all together, and you dip your brush in, and you brush your teeth. And when you're done brushing your teeth feel very clean. There's no filminess on your teeth. They feel just squeaky clean, and you just feel good knowing that you're not putting something that you don't know what it means in your body. And then if you actually do the research on these ingredients, you're like, why am I putting this on my body? So I just wanted to tell you our little personal experience with homemade toothpaste. I probably should say that I am not a physician. I am not a dentist. So, you know, this is just my experience. I am not recommending anything to anyone, but this is my experience with homemade toothpaste, and it has been a positive one for me and for my mom. So that's just what we do. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back tomorrow for our book of the month for the Pine Cottage Book Club. So if I see you there, thank you so much. I hope that you guys enjoy the changes that I will be making, and I hope you enjoy the knitting content that I will continue to make. Thank you so much for being here. I know there are a gazillion channels you could have been watching today, so thank you for choosing mine, and I will see you next time. Bye.